this time, Leslie Miller was going to be a prophet. Leslie Miller's a prophet. He prophesied, ladies and gentlemen.
Open the front door.
He said, "Your eyes can sweat." That's what he said. He said, "Your eyes can sweat." I didn't lie. And I take off my shirt. And I take off his other shirt. And I take off my pants. I can take off my jockey necks because my balls them sweat. But I sweat. But I sweat. BPL, what I do you? What I do you?
It's off because you talk with me and you talk with my bill. Then you should have been talking with your ma bill. And you should have been talking with your pa bill. Or what should I? Next person talk with my bill? You ask a sweat. Cutting all your lights off. You ask a sweat. Can't be here till in the morning. You ask a sweat. Think I care? You can sweat your ass off.
Then to go! Miss Alton got to go! Well, I might have come clean. About a year ago, I was offered bribes in the terms of hundreds of. I refused the bribes. I wrote a letter to the CEO asking for an investigation to take place. I named the names of all the persons who I was told I'd be sharing this money with. Since there's never been anything concerning that investigation brought back to the union or brought back to me or any conclusion. But ever since, I noticed slight victimization in the way they handling me and handling the department I work in. Because last Friday, it's understood that they tried to remove 2 senior level officials in BPL. Now today, I understand that they calling my manager and one of my co-workers asking him to resign with immediate effect, right? And I call on the chair lady on this board to be removed. Chair lady, you know just what's going on, okay? Because it had to come from the board level. All of these things that are happening, all these targeting. You all did not finish that investigation where a man tried to bribe me of all those hundreds of thousands of dollars to do that work in Clifton Pier. To prove that is true, one of the names that this man gave me, the company actually fired for doing what this man said he did. Take that investigation to the police that we signed and all the witnesses that I was bribed.
Listen to me. It hard. It hard. I didn't know after all this time Leslie Miller was going to be a prophet. Leslie Miller's a prophet. He prophesied, ladies and gentlemen.
Open the front door.
He said, "Your eyes can sweat." That's what he said. He said, "Your eyes can sweat." I didn't lie. And I take off my shirt. And I take off his other shirt. And I take off my pants. I can take off my jockey necks because my balls them sweat. But I sweat. But I sweat. BPL, what I do you? What I do you?
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. Welcome, welcome. It's always good to have you here. This is our Sunday. This is going to be another special Sunday where we have a conversation about what's going on I was literally going to take this Sunday off, but there's too much going on, man. There's too much as it relates to this crisis with BPL. And there's too much more to talk about as it relates to this, and too much more to reveal as it relates to this. And we have to get the message out to the Bahamian people that this is not acceptable. This is a failed state that is happening right now. We saw the courts had to shut down because of BPL. We are seeing businesses all over Bay Street having to shut down because of BPL. We saw ZNS had to shut down because of BPL. We are seeing all kinds of shutdown because of BPL. We have seen BPL shut down because of BPL. And it's all because of a few greedy Bahamians, a few greedy people want to make all the money from BPL, and they are making you suffer in the meantime. We're going to talk about this today. And ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be a relaxed show today, and we're going to let you call in from the very beginning of the show. We want the Bahamas government to hear from you. They are watching. They are on this show. We need them to hear from you. What is going on in your neck of the woods? What's happening with your BPL power? Are your appliances being destroyed? It sounds like we need a class action lawsuit as it relates to people's appliances being destroyed. Is IRCA doing their job? Are you making complaints to IRCA because of your appliances being destroyed? BPL should be paying fines through the roof right now. There should be no excuses. We've seen BTC fined for even lesser things. We've seen Cable Bahamas fined. And so we need to make sure that that they are being held to account. You have rights, and we're going to talk about all of this today. When your refrigerator is blown, when your microwave is blown, and your TV is blown, you have rights. No company has a right to destroy your appliances and tell you that they're not paying you. And so we need to talk about that side of things, but we need to hear from you. Right? This is something that we're not talking about enough, and we need to talk about this more, that you as consumers are not being paid. You have rights. You can actually take them to magistrate court. You have rights. They have no right to just destroy your thing and then keep going, to destroy your utilities. You also have rights to make complaints to IRCA. BPL, BC comes under IRCA. But we have to talk about all of this today. All right. So what to do? I can't share this. And so we need you to make sure that you share this. So use your ad highlights, your ad followers, and make sure that people know that we are live. I hear some people say, hey, we didn't see a notification that you were going live today. I go live every Sunday at 5 o'clock. I've been doing that for many, many years, through many administrations, from the Minister administration. And so we continue to do that. So if I'm not going live, you'll see a notification, okay? And so we need you to make sure that everyone is on here. Use your ad highlight, ad followers. Go and share the stuff in WhatsApp. Make sure everyone knows what is going on. Make sure everyone knows that we are here, all right? Because we have to have this conversation today, all right? So that's what we are going to be talking about today. We got some stuff. Before I get there, I want you to not be distracted by this BPL situation. We still have a country that is under the gun of the international community because of the criminal drug crime ring that has been prevalent in our country since, especially since 2021. We have one of the biggest drug dealers in the world right now who's been arrested, a Bahamian, Eric Progress Gardner, and that's what the indictment calls him. We call him player, but in the drug game, they called him, and on the phone calls that they tapped and everything else, they were calling him Progress. And so that's what they call him on the indictment. So I need us to stay focused on this because this is serious. We can't brush this under the rug. We have to make sure that our country is a country based on integrity. And I call on the people who are supposed to be our ethical watchmen, the Christian Council, the pastors, etc. Don't be silenced. Don't be silenced because you're afraid to be victimized or you're afraid to be removed from boards. Don't be silent because you want to get a government contract. Don't be silenced. Only one country we have. And you have a duty to speak truth to power. Let me tell you something. And many of you don't understand this, but the prophets in the Bible, their job was to speak truth to power. Their job was to keep the king in check. That was the job of the prophets, not just prophesying about the future, not just prophesying about you getting a new house or a new car. Their job, the men of God, was to keep the king in check. God made it so that for you to become the king, you had to get anointed by the prophet. He put them under them. Before they went to war, they got advice from the prophets. Before they made any major decision, they went to the prophets to get advice. And it was the prophet's job to keep them in check, even if they would kill them. And guess what? All the prophets were killed, even the greatest of them, John the Baptist. And it was an honor. Even Christ was killed. You have to stand up and speak truth. Not just for your children, not just for your family, not just for your church, not just for the nation, but for the kingdom of God. I'm calling on pastors to hold this government's foot to the fire. You all come together and you all stand up. You all be the moral voice. There are many behemoths who believe that you all have sold out for little contracts, for little crown land to build a church on. All Bahamians must stand together to speak out against what's going on. Have courage, man. Don't be afraid. I'll stand in the front for y'all. I'm still also an ordained minister. I'll stand in the front and take the blows. Let me tell my pastors something. Y'all excuse me while I talk to these fellas. Because it's like this country is going crazy and the people who should be speaking out are not speaking out. Everyone is just trying to be friendly with the government. You have a fiduciary duty to stand up. You can't be afraid. Come on. If we let our country continue to go to the dogs like this, we're not going to have anything left. And many of you have sold out, and I'm telling you now, repent and start speaking truth to power. Put your politics aside. We don't want you here telling us vote for this one, vote for that one. Put your politics aside and stand up for what is right. Because right now, this country is going to the dogs, and you are going to be held responsible. You know what God said to the prophet? And he wasn't just speaking to that one prophet. He said, if you see the people going astray, or someone going astray, and you don't say nothing, yeah, they could be in their sin, but the iniquity is also going to be on you. And so many of our pastors are sinners because they are sitting down, watching the wickedness and doing nothing, saying nothing. Someone says, I have no obligation to politics on Facebook. I don't know if that's a pastor. Let me tell you what politics is. Politics means the affairs of the people. That's what it means. They have this thing where they say the church and state should be separate. That's demonic. That's not true. In fact, you are under the British Kingdom, and the king is also the head of the Anglican Church. The prophets always spoke out against the wrong that the king was doing. And remember, the king was someone that could just kill you for no reason. Didn't have to justify nothing. Didn't have to go before no court. Just kill you. The prophet stood up. Our country is falling. And your pastors better stop selling yourself and speak out against what this government is doing, man. Y'all wake up and take your rightful place in this community. The media has a duty. Media, speak up and stand up. I want to applaud those women in the media. We got too much weak men out there. I want to applaud those women in the media who stood in front of the prime minister and asked him the tough questions. That's what they do in regular countries, man. They don't just ask softball questions and then have media just repeating what the MP said. Come on, man. I applaud those women. That's what media is supposed to be doing. Not selling out to the point where we can't even trust the media. The media has a duty. The church has a duty. Having a problem trusting the police in this society. They just released a police with the defense force, a video with where they're speaking Creole in training. So now you can't just trust that. People are not trusting the courts and the court system. Because as far as they're concerned, the prime minister appointed them and they putting all their people there, and so they get whatever decision they want. That's how people feel. Some are saying they experienced that. You all know we've had election court from June 1st. You all know I haven't heard anything back yet. You all know that? While this country is deteriorating more and more since May 12th. Y'all, let's stand up. Y'all, let's stand up. Don't be scared. They can come for me. They ain't come for y'all. They can set me up. They accuse me and stuff. They can do whatever they want. They ain't come for y'all. Y'all don't be scared. Y'all stand up, Bahamas. Because what's going to happen if Bahamians keep not getting justice in this country, Bahamians are going to pick up guns. And Bahamians are going to fight back. The reason the politicians are getting away with what they're doing right now, going against the will of the people, is because they know Bahamians ain't going to do nothing anyway. They can make some noise. They can call a radio station. They can make some Facebook posts. And then when the next thing come up, they done with that. They can say, oh, well, what you going to do? And that's why you're suffering. That's why you're suffering. I played that video twice, but I won't play this video for you all one more time. And I'm going to tell you the most significant thing about this video. Like I asked you all, so pay attention. Listen to this video very carefully. And I want you to tell me the most significant thing about this video that you just heard. Let's play it.
Listen to me. It hard. It did hard. I didn't know after all this time Leslie Miller was going to be a prophet. Leslie Miller's a prophet. He prophesied, ladies and gentlemen.
Open the front door.
He said,
Not the
Yas can sweat. That's what he said. He said, Yas can sweat. I didn't like. And I take off my shirt. And I take off his other shirt. And I take off my pants. I can take off my jockey next. Because my balls them sweat. But I sweat. But I sweat. BPL, what I do you? What I do you?
Someone tell me the most significant thing about that video that I just played. Someone tell me what's the most serious thing about that video I just played. Let me see y'all. Write in the text. Y'all put in the text. Y'all tell me what is the most significant thing about that video I just played. There's over 6,000 y'all, almost 7,000 y'all on here on all our platforms. Tell me, someone, gotta be one smart person. Tell me what's the most significant thing about that video I just played. The most serious thing about that. Let me see. Someone says it's a joke. No, that's a serious thing. What's the most significant thing about that? Someone say you told us we as well. No, actually it was Leslie Miller, and that's what he's quoting. Leslie Miller had actually, when he was the chairman of BPL, he was talking to the people cold, like we were nothing, like we were dogs, and he said that exact term. You ask a sweat. That's what he said to the Bahamian people, mercilessly. He told y'all, turn your power off. And that's what he said. And so that's why this person was making that joke about him. All right. But let me tell you the most serious part about that. I see your answers. All right. The most serious part, someone got it. Someone says about 15 years ago. The most serious part of that is that happened probably about 15, 13, whatever it was, years ago. And the situation is still the same. And we keep voting for it. And then we blaming the government when we vote for it. It got so bad at that point, because it was bad before that the fella just cussed the whole Bahamian public out. And they still got him on TV talking, giving his opinion. He should be hiding in hell right now for what they did to the Bahamian people. With all the massive blackouts that we had at the time. Y'all go on YouTube and remind yourself, just do a search. Nothing has changed. It has gotten worse. That's the serious part about that. That's an old video. The BPL problem is not the PLP's fault. The BPL problem is the Bahamian people's fault. Because you keep voting for the people who are benefiting from your suffering. Leslie Miller at the time, and I'm not going after Leslie on this, I'm just letting you see, because he represents a party. I'm just letting you see this. At the time, his bill was first they thought it was 200 and something thousand, then they realized it was like 500,000 in total. Um, and then he was insulting because before that he was insulting the hotels, rowing out the hotels, rowing out the BC workers, telling them they are hogs and dogs. And so they decided to release his BPL bill. And then, he cussed everybody out. And then he say, your egg is sweat. Because y'all revealed his bill. Someone else did a comedy spoof on that. And y'all excuse the language, but I want y'all to see how serious this was back then. And the fact that we keep allowing this means that what you crying for? If you keep voting for this, if you keep voting for these people who are, it isn't that the electricity situation is bad. It's that they are benefiting from electricity the way it is. They're making money from this. You suffering, you're sweating, and you're still voting for that. This here is what someone
Lights off,
proofs.
because you talk with me and you talk with my bill. Then you should have been talking with your ma bill, and you should have been talking with your pa bill. Or what should I? Next person talk with my bill, you ask a sweat. Cutting all your lights off, you ask a sweat. Can't be till in the morning, you ask a sweat. Think I care? You can sweat your ass off.
So of course that was a spoof that Bahamians did. We act fast, but we need to stop cracking jokes about these things, and we need to get serious and start removing these governments. We need to have a serious conversation today. Because, like I said, the PLP is not at fault. So eventually, after there was so much uproar, Perry Christie, okay, I got move you, I got put you somewhere else. After talking to the Bahamians like dog and basically spitting on them and kicking them while they down. This the video from that. Okay, so video gonna play.
Businessman and former member of parliament for Tall Pines, Leslie Miller,
Miller has been sitting at the helm as chairman of the Bahamas Electricity Corporation. And for a few weeks now, it has
been rumored that he had already vacated the top post. Well, Miller confirmed to our news team this week that he has not left the chairmanship post, but it could happen pretty soon.
Already spoke to the Prime Minister. We have agreed that they want to put a new board in place. I have agreed that I will go wherever they want to send me. I met with my minister, Honorable Philip Davis.
See?
They said they have a place for me to go. There's some hiccup with, I guess, one of the fellas who don't want to go nowhere. So I'm waiting for them to tell me when to go. But whenever they say, leave, I'm ready to go. The entire board is ready to go.
So now it got to that. After all of the embarrassment, etc. And again, I'm not showing this to go after Leslie Miller. I'm showing you that no matter what happens, it is clear that nothing changes. And we keep tolerating nothing. You see, they were making noise about Carl Wilson and the situation. That is nothing new. Leslie Miller called them hogs and dogs all those years ago. Insulted them. And he came back and said they were changing the system to make sure that couldn't happen. Now we changing the system again. I thought we changed it already. Watch this.
As the electricity costs for Bahamian consumers, one of the ways it plans on passing on savings is by cutting millions of dollars in overtime for employees at the Bahamas Electricity Corporation. BEC Chairman Leslie Miller said the corporation is also going after people who steal electricity. Vanique Toot reports.
BEC Chairman Leslie Miller says government is determined to save $10 million over the next year by eliminating what he called excessive overtime pay. He expects BEC to begin cutting overtime payments within the next 6 months. Miller says the government-run corporation pays out more than $1 million in overtime each month, adding that between 20 and 30 BEC workers take home as much as $60,000 in overtime in 1 year. He says that's higher than some of their base salaries.
It is imperative that the management, the staff of BEC and the board be on the same page. We don't want any fight with the union, but I think as we attempt to deal with the union, their contract is up now. We simply tell both unions, the management and the workers' union, you are Bahamians. We are Bahamians. The Bahamas Electricity Corporation is owned by the people of the Bahamas. So whatever savings we can generate is for all of our benefits.
BEC has nearly 1,000 employees. He says if the corporation cuts overtime payments, it can create desperately needed jobs.
If you're talking overtime, the first thing that comes to mind, well, if these guys need all this overtime, it means that you need more people to be employed. In the slow market in the Bahamas now, we need to create jobs. We will also be creating jobs to eliminate some of that overtime. Obviously, if one fella payroll, say his base pay is $40,000 a year, but you find at the end of the year that this particular department, maybe generation or what have you, one man is making $60,000 a year in overtime.
It can't happen, really?
Hello?
The corporation also hopes to save millions of dollars by cracking down.
So, ladies and gentlemen, Leslie Miller went on, to basically say they were gonna, crack down on whatever. But it was the same problems over and over again. And he said right after that the biggest problem in the Bahamas, the biggest problem in the Bahamas at the time was BPL and crime. That's still it. Nothing changed. Because you are voting for the same people. So let me backtrack for you again. Last week we showed you documents, okay? And when people take out the little clips when I make these statements, the documents won't be there because it's just a little clip. And so they'll say, where's the documents? We go live all the time and show the documents. But anyway, let me make this clear for the Bahian public again. Focal is who BPL buys fuel from. Focal historically got money as investment. That money was then used to buy the fuel from Shell West, right? The fuel money that was going to go for electricity using money given to them by NIB. We don't see any records of NIB getting this money back. If it's there, you all just give us freedom of information I can show us, because we don't see us benefiting from that. We just see NIB losing. And in those years, we saw NIB total investments of negative millions of dollars. All right? So we don't see where we benefited from that transaction. They can show us, but I don't see it. So they got free business using your NIB money. Now, next, they sold that fuel to BPL. But guess what? It's more complicated than that. In order for BPL to buy the fuel, they got the money for the fuel from, guess where? NIB. They borrowed the money from NIB. All right, the screen, they borrowed the money from NIB to buy the same fuel that was already bought with NIB's money. Focal. Two, NIB borrows money from, lends money to BPL to buy the same fuel that we already bought as a people. And then you buy the fuel because you pay your bill. So you buy the fuel, all right, that was already bought. That's 3 times now. And then they do a fuel surcharge on top of that for that money to be paid back. So the fella owe you, and he have you pay him back. Are y'all understanding what I just said? BPL borrowed our money from NIB, and then they charging us to pay that back. So they borrow from us, and we got to pay back what they borrow. Because we use the conks. And then on top of that, you pay in VAT on these transactions. That's 5 times. Your light bill is high because that fuel surcharge is going straight to the F&M and PLP. Focal is owned by the F&M and the PLP. I want you to understand that. The faces they put out there is not really the owners. They just the faces to represent their party's interests. Y'all wake up. They're making money from your suffering. We can talk about solutions later. So I want that to be in the front of everyone's mind. And on top of that, they're getting extra money. On top of the money they borrowing, they're getting extra money from our treasury. They're borrowing additional money from our treasury to buy the same fuel. So that's you paid that with your taxpayer dollar. Then they borrowed from you, from your NIB, your pension. And then guess what? You know how else you pay for that? So that's 6 ways you don't pay for the same fuel. The 7th is that because they've been sucking NIB dry to pay all these fuel bills that we ain't getting nothing back from, they have to raise NIB. And every 2 years, NIB is going to raise until it's 25% of your salary. 25. So if you make $400 a month, $100 go to NIB. Y'all wake? So we paid 7 times for the same fuel. But hey, you get to have your party in power while you sweat, while your appliances being destroyed, while you can't get reliable electricity to do your work, to do nothing. Now, I don't want you to think for 1 second that this is a PLP thing. While the Minutes administration did a little more than this PLP, this is an historic thing. I see the F&M speaking out against this like they did such a good job. I just saw something from Michael Barnett. Michael Barnett talking about the electricity situation. Ma'am, we have not forgotten the blackouts under the Free National Movement. Yes, by the end of their term, they had bought a lot of generators that they needed by the end of their term. And they did better on that than this previous government is doing. But there were blackouts the same way. And here's the problem. Why are you buying generators that use more fuel, that we spent historically $30 million a month on fuel? Y'all hear that? We spend $30 million a month. You know who that going to? The FNM and the PLP, who own Focal. That's on fuel. Now they're going to go solar, like I told you all years ago, but Focal is going to be allowed to put the solar panels in. So now they're going to make that extra money from y'all, from the fuel and from this free sun. Why? Because the Amiens are the conk. So you're getting robbed all around and you continue to vote for that. And I see some people acting like the FNM is going to be some solution. The FNM is now having some argument. I ain't getting in their little route. That ain't my business. All right. Ingram is now saying Pintard has to go. While we're on that, people keep telling me just leave Pintard alone, right? But I'm paying him. He's the leader of the opposition. I'm paying him. Equivalent to about $500,000 a year. This would be paying him and his expenses and stuff for the constituency. The FNM is getting $10 million over the next 5 years. All of those FNM MPs. Together, collectively, $10 million. We paying them. I went to a memorial service at BFM for the plane crash victims, the recent plane crash victims. And I heard something that really disturbed me there. They called up the leader of the opposition to speak, and rightfully so. But during his speech, he took a shot. He appeared to take a shot at one of the victims and some of their surviving loved ones. Michael Pintard, during that speech, started talking about, because there was some controversy on social media about one of the victims and more than one woman being attached to him. And Michael Pintard said that y'all Bahamians need to know when to trade them in, to let them go. If the man ain't working out, you got to let him go. If something ain't happening right in your relationship, you got to let them go. I was flabbergasted that a leader of this nation would use that opportunity to take pot shots at a man who had passed away and at the women he was allegedly involved with. He started to give advice. He said, if you're married, then you can put up with that. But if you're not married, then, trade them in. I couldn't believe my ears. That was disgusting. But anyway, I just thought I would say that. Pintard, I rebuke you for that. That was not the time. People are hurting and suffering. That's not the time for your relationship advice. That's not the time. Anyway, let me get back on point. The FNM is putting out these voice notes and what else? Putting out press statements, etc. It was no better under them. Okay? They are not the solution. They are not. But do we keep voting for it? If we do, don't complain. I'm going to open the phone lines now as I start to talk a little bit about the solutions and where we would have been right now. The phone line is open to all of you, except Michael Pintard. Don't call me. Because that was totally out of order. I'm surprised he didn't get scolded. That just went past everyone's head. And Ingram is now saying that they need new leadership. They need a leader that can inspire them. Some of them are looking towards a fellow who could row good to say that they're going to lead them now. But lead us to what? Back to the same F&M with the same attitude of making the wealthy richer. And there are some people I see, like they feel that that is the solution. Let's go back to the same people who have been messing with us all this time, who've been hurting us all this time, including Ingram. Call you live, go ahead.
Good afternoon, my president. How you doing?
I am awesome.
Man, I don't know when my Bahamian people are going to wake up, right? But it's really so sad. I mean, the other day, just last night, the power dipped, and then it gone off, and then today it dipped. So my thing is, my Bahamian people, do they realize that with this power outage, you have businesses on Bay Street where the power is being off for like 3 days.
No, man.
They're having delivery. They're having delivery that's coming to their establishment, and the owner have to say, "Sorry, sir, I can't go ahead and accept this delivery because the power is not consistent." So how are those people supposed to continue to operate their business?
Wow.
Do my Bahamian people realize that, hey, if these businesses continue to have this power outage, their products being spoiled, eventually the business is going to close down. So if the business closed down, that's job losses. So my thing is, there are eventually going to be job losses in any event because this Prime Minister said it's going to be fixed by 2028. Businesses are not going to last that long. So my thing is to my Bahamian people, listen, it's cheaper. You come in the square, shut the square down for 3 days, like how they're doing the business on Bay Street, and get them out. Because how are we going to survive the next 2 years with this foolishness? Big data power was off today again.
What?
It was off last night, a couple hours ago. So however y'all want to think there's hope, there's no hope. Because businesses are going to shut down. Their light bill being 3 times the amount, I'm not going to, if I'm a business owner, I'm not going to go into my personal saving to save any company. I prefer to shut it down. And Bahamians have to wake up. That's what is going to eventually happen. And then you're still going to be out of a job. So why are you trying to save this little piece of job and just suffering? That don't make no sense to me. But I digress. It's up to them how much longer they can suffer. But I know I tired.
Yeah. Yeah.
All
Thank
right.
you for your call.
Have a good one.
All right. Caller, you alive? Go ahead.
Hope all is well.
Yes, all is well.
Just a question: Is that one of the reasons why they're doing it? To push certain Bahamian businesses out of business, and they have somebody else in?
It could be because the smaller businesses, especially, won't be able to afford a major generator, and those a big generator, and those who could afford it might not be able to afford the fuel to put in that generator constantly. And so that could be one of the plans to get them out of business. But in any event, if that's not the plan, that's the result. And so we have to do something as a Bahamian people. I mean, how much longer we could take this bunch of failing, man? And then, I mean, and what annoys me, the PLP is failing. The F&M failed us too. Now people talking about going back to the F&M like there's some solution. What you talking about? And then when the F&M gets it, then they crying again. Crying again. No, man, we got to do something. But that's a great point you brought up.
We got to do better.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
Have a wonderful evening,
You
sir.
too. Call you live.
Hey, how are you doing? All is well?
I'm alive.
Yes, just wanted to bring to everybody's attention the incident with what's going on with BPL. Isn't what's going on stealing by reason of employment?
Yeah, I think what's happening is defrauding the Bahamian people, but what they are doing is they are doing it legally. You see? They are giving the money to Focal legally. all right, is on the books, and they're doing it legally, except for the fact that they're not reporting this anymore. They are giving the money to BPL through loans. That's what they're doing. And so they're doing it legally. Now, the money coming back is another problem, all right? We don't see where the money coming back, and they need to show us where the money coming back. Now, what they're doing with the Sovereign Wealth Fund, or what they now call the National Investment Fund, that is borderlining on criminal to me, based on my opinion, what I'm seeing. How does $700 million just go missing? How does that work? How do you just say, oh, we spent it on airports? Which airport? Which airport you build for $700 million? Well, we'll take it to what they said, the $265 million. Which airports? Someone tell me where we see $265 million worth of airports, because you definitely didn't build the one in Freeport. The one in Cat Island, you said was going to be about 18 million, which was a huge inflation of what it really was. That in itself seems criminal to me. So where were these airports? Where are these airports?
But also, Mr. Bain, it's just so that our Bahamian people can open your eyes wide, because plenty of you all still asleep.
Yeah.
Anybody heard from the F&M whether they're going to launch an investigation into what is going on at BPL?
The F&M will not do nothing. They could talk, they could put some press statements so people could say, see, they was talking. When the house opens back, they could row back and forth. Andre could say some stuff across the floor, but they will not file for an injunction. They will not use the PAC. They will do nothing, because the F&M and the PLP own Focal. Their benefactors are benefiting. They will do nothing but talk on the outside while we suffer.
But now, Mr. Bain, they're talking, but now they want a new leader. So that means all of the problems you're going through, you're talking about a new leader and you haven't done your work. It's like this thing is a game to them.
They don't need a new leader. They need a leader. The F&M does not have a leader. That is the problem. They are led by oligarchs who are doing deals under the table. And it doesn't matter if it's Pintard, Andre Rollins, or any other name you may call in the party, they will not really be running the party. That's the problem.
Right.
And I don't want Bahamians to be fooled by that nonsense again. If you're fooled by it, don't come crying.
Also, the point to another issue at BPL, they allowing BPL to investigate BPL. That's like the police with all the crime we were having. The police is investigating the police. There's nothing going to come out of that. And the F&M, who was fighting so hard to try and get another term, hasn't said anything in regards to that. How could you have the BPL investigating BPL? Even with the overtime, you should have that investigated for those persons who are seem to be absorbent amount of monies. That should be privately investigated by the country, because that seemed to me to be stealing by reason of employment again. But the F&M is just sitting by idly waiting for another term. If the PLP have their time, now we can have our time. And notice what is happening. The amount of foolishness that comes out of Brave Davis' mouth, the F&M isn't really challenging it. They just go behind and say a few words, and nothing come out of it. Did anything come out of the Gardner incident when Michael Pintard said that he is going to launch an investigation into it? Nothing came out of it.
Thank you, Gola. Yeah, but I appreciate it. 803-5995 is the number. You can call in. The line is free now. I only have one line, so you can call WhatsApp call or regular call. Either one is fine. But 803-5995 is the number. It is beyond sickening what is happening in this country. And we are just sitting down and accepting it. as if it's the norm. There are some people pastor who's a part of a third party behind the F&M now, saying that the F&M, we need to put Pintard back about Pintard is the solution or some nonsense. And I was like, is this man, what's wrong with him? Call you live, go ahead.
Hey, good afternoon, Mr. President.
Good afternoon, my brother.
Yeah, so, man, Mr. President, when we go in downtown come September, because, like everybody else is concerned, like the direction this country is going, the country is going, man, it's really scary, man. And it appears that the Bahamian people aren't that concerned to a certain degree, right? But
that's what's scary.
That's it's like they're not concerned, but and I mean, you can look around and you could see things changing so swiftly in your country, and what does like me? I just wonder if I mean, other than if these people, if the rest of the Bahamian people have eyes to see, or is that darkness they have over the country? Is that I don't understand, man, because we are losing our country, right? And talking about the PLP and the FNM, like you indicated, both of these parties are the reason why we are in the position we are in, and we have to keep knocking on that, because it ain't no going back to the FNM for no result. The FNM is the protector of the PLP, and the PLP is the protector of the FNM. None of these parties are interested in protecting Bahamian people or even our constitution, which is supposed to be so important for our development. So, Mr. President, continue doing what you're doing, and just know, man, we have to continue this fight, because the Bahamian people have to wake up, and if we go to sleep, then especially you, if you go to sleep, Mr. President, I don't know what type of country we would have left. So please, sir, stay strong and stay safe, sir.
Thank you, man. I was told that in New Providence, the power went off from Friday to Saturday. I was not in the country, so I didn't experience it. But the power went off from Friday to Saturday. And then it was off at the center, the heart of our nation for days. My Lord. And it's acceptable to some people. Call you live. It's your chance to call in. Let me hear from you. Let them hear from you. They watching. Over 8,000 of y'all on here right now, live, on all of our platforms. They watching. What happening to your appliances? What experience are you having? Let them hear. Go ahead, caller.
Mr. Vane.
Go ahead, caller.
When I speak to the small man, FNM, and PLP. And I want them to know that they are the ones that are suffering. The BPL, the 3 levels, that is made to be the scapegoat. But I want them to realize that it's their PLP and FNM leaders at the top whom they voted for who are the culprits. So we can look at them. Small man PLPs and FNMs, you all are the ones that are suffering. You cannot continue to do the same things over and over at the poll. The only way I'm seeing out of this now, Mr. Ben, is for the small man PLP and FNMs who are suffering to now stand with this relevant organization, who is standing for country over party and politics, and for the Bahamian people and generations that's coming behind, for us,
now to stand with the COI, you small man, PLP and FNM. I have to talk to you because it's you that has this situation the way it is right now, because we keep doing the same thing. We need to encamp in and around Parliament Square. Notice when they hear about a protest, they grab the barricades. Thousands of us need to go in the square. That's the people's square. That's where the power is. So we need to come together, small man, PLP and FNM, and stand with Mr. Bain and his leaders and this relevant organization and shut this down and demand that they resign. And let this COI organization who is willing to lead us in the right way and fix your situation and get you out of your suffering. Mr. Bain, I digress. I talk too much. All right.
Thanks for your call. 803-5995. 803-5995 is the number. And so this is your chance to call, speak up, let them hear you. They are watching, they are listening. Make sure that they know that, man, we can't take much more of this, man. Oh, man, you're killing us. You're killing us. All right? But if you're going to sit down and allow this to continue to happen, then what do you expect? That's on you. Don't blame nobody else. It's on you. And so while we're doing that, I'm going to we presented clear solutions with clear qualified candidates to the Bahamian people. All right. Jobette Kobe is not qualified in to be speaking on anything in as it relates to energy. I mean, that's just real. That's not an insult to her. That's just the way it is. She is not qualified, and she's failing, and so she should be fired. But in fact, the prime minister said the buck stopped with him. So I guess as the prime minister, that should be fired, since the buck stops with him. Okay, let's look at. I hope you can see this. Yeah, so I'm sharing my screen now. Let me make sure you can see this properly. I'm sharing my screen. We presented a clear vision to the Bahamian people. Let me move one of these so you can see good. Clear vision to the Bahamian people about what really should be happening in the Bahamas. Okay, you really should be able to see that kind of good. No, I'll make myself small and make that big so you can see this good. All right, perfect. We presented a clear vision to the Bahamian people about the direction that Bahamas should be going. If you go to our website, again, we have a beautiful website. You know, if you go to this website, you know, it's a very beautiful website. I love it. Of course, IT is my specialty, and I built this website from scratch. So just letting you know that we could have a Bahamas with a real future. And then, you know, I was just checking to make sure y'all could hear properly. All right, so this is our website. You can go to it and see things on here at any time. The first 100 days is there. We also put out news stories out on the website. If you go to the bottom, you will see different news stories about what's going on in the country. So we're going to be putting more and more stuff there. So you'll see some highlights on the homepage, but you can just click on news and be able to see what's going on. So I just wanted you all to see that. And you can go on this page and you can fund the movement. Don't wait for us to ask you. You can go here anytime with your debit credit card and you can fund the movement with GoFundMe or SunCash. That's your choice. If you're in the Bahamas or anywhere, you can use GoFundMe. If you're in the Bahamas, only you can use SunCash. All right. So there's a lot to see on this website. All of our documentaries, everything is right there. Go have an explore and see what's going on. I'm going to go to our 100-day plan to show you energy. And we have a full plan for energy that people in the industry were very impressed with. And so hoping you all can still see this. But we put out a comprehensive plan for energy. That was a powerful plan. But we put out a first 100-day plan of what we would have been doing in that first 100 days. All right, to show where we would have gotten and how far we would have gotten. Of course, these guys are qualified in this area, very qualified in this area. Mr. Brian Rowell and Mr. Graham Bedford, he has experience in this, and both of them. And so we would have had some qualified people dealing with this. And so, okay, trying to maneuver with this on the software. Just give me one sec. Just gonna make it a little smaller. Okay. So we had a 100-day emergency mobilization timeline to show the Bahamian people that we did not have to settle for how things were. We were going to declare a national emergency as it relates to energy, and we're going to launch a 24-hour emergency war room immediately. That's from day one. That means the next day after election, as soon as we would have put our energy minister in place, which we would have done very quickly because I knew that the emergency was coming. And so I see people sharing around this video where I'm saying, don't cry, don't cry. They think that I just put that out because of what's happening now. No, I knew that more trouble was coming. I'm about to tell you about more trouble in a minute. I knew that trouble was coming and that the grid was going to start to fail. And that's why I was saying what I was saying. Okay? And exactly what I said came to pass. Everything I say to you, Bahamas, comes to pass. Everything I say to you comes to pass. All right? So let me just take this call while we're in the midst of this. Call you live. Go ahead.
Good evening, Mr. President.
Good evening.
I am so sick and tired of being sick and tired of the way our country is running. And to every organic Bahamian, every Haitian Bahamian, whatever you want to call yourselves, we have to put this race thing aside. We have to get together and fill that square. If we love this country, we need to fill that square and demand these people get out of our houses, out of the House of Assembly. The same way the politicians love their children and their grandchildren, and they feel like they deserve the best, I feel the same way about mine. And they're no better than us. We're their bosses. And it's time Bahamians stop being so laid back and sitting down and just taking everything they push down our throat and do something about it. Every time a protest is called, I travel to Nassau for that. You have people right in Nassau who would not stand up for this one country we have. And that is so sad.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for your call. Thank you for standing up. Thank you for traveling whenever the clarion call is done. We will overcome.
Exactly.
All right. Thank you.
Have a great evening.
Yes. And so as you're seeing on your screen, we would have put a 24-hour with a national emergency, a state of national emergency was going to be done as it relates to energy so that we could do some things that you can't normally do. We've launched a 24-hour war room, installed a task force, BPL audit and carbon credits union so that we can immediately benefit from our carbon credits so we could do what we needed to do without a bunch of costs. Carbon credits can pay off our legacy debts, but they don't want that. All right, we would have identified the first underground corridors because we were going underground with this. We shouldn't have our reusing poles. We've had it set up in grid so that you can easily cross-check and find where there's a fault. All right. We're going to unlock delivery. So in day 11 to 30, pass emergency reform bill, tender 30 megawatt solar and 50 megawatt battery, and Nassau Harbor Hydrate. And we're going to have more battery. This is just what we could do service within days. We were going to have more battery than solar, and that's because the batteries can also be powered by the traditional generation. So the generators that were still operational could also power the batteries so that if something ever happened, if there was a fault, et cetera, the batteries would kick in and you would not be off for a minute. It would not even blink off because the batteries would continue and take a lot of the load. All right. And the batteries could take that on. So the batteries would be powered by solar initially, and so it'd be a hybrid system and a battery. And we would, after going in and doing research close to the election, we realized that we were going to take even more battery power than this, using certain solutions, salt solutions, and other things. So we would have been in a situation to power even 100 megawatts of battery power to be able to make sure that we never go off the grid. All right, we'll never go down, blackouts. We would have zero rate duty on renewable equipment, zero rate duty and VAT, none of it, because it's an emergency. Launch rooftop solar for public buildings. And we're also going to launch that for private also, along with the duty. We're going to push it, and we were going to use private buildings, make deals with private homes in order to put solar panels on there so that we could get power sent back to the grid while powering some of our homes and taking some of the load off of the grid. We were going to build at speed, start 24-hour trenching on priority feeders. We're going to have solar site prep, substation hardening, and smart grid upgrades. Select 2 hydrogen-ready Family Island pilots, because we're also going to use get electricity from water using hydrogen production, which is going to be able to make hydrogen fuel, supply water for communities, and give you electricity. All right. Begin rooftop installs and on hospitals, schools, and shelters, etc. We were going to execute EPC contracts and battery back critical sites, publish diesel retirement and island underground schedule. So by then, we're going to be letting you know when we're getting rid of diesel generators, we're going to be replacing them. Close first carbon back facility, launch community solar green loans and public dashboard. And so what this is saying is that within the first 100 days, we would have been well on the way to being self-sufficient, to getting this done. Not talks about what we're going to do. The PLP was in power for a whole 5 years, and they still talking about what they're going to do. They still talking about what they inherited. We were going to have an aggressive renewables design for speed. We were going to be purchasing those renewables at a more expensive rate from America because it's closer, easy to deliver. We were going to have 24-hour billing to make sure that we got this done very quickly. So not you work for 8 hours and you get off, and then you come back to work the next morning and continue billing the solar. No. 24 hours, just the way Atlantis was built in record speed in 18 months. They built the whole of Atlantis in 18 months. We can do some solar in a few months, just solar. They built the whole of Atlantis, Royal Towers, renovated the Coral Towers and the Beach Towers in 18 months. The whole dig and everything that's there, the whole yard, everything, in 18 months. But you're going to tell me that we can't have solar in a few months? We were gonna push Nassau Harbor to hydro, especially on the Port Dock, etc., and hydrogen-ready islands, etc. All right, all of this is on our website. You can go there and look and see all of this. All right, build, monetize, and so go look at this for yourself. The plan is right there. Real solutions to fix this thing. Carbon credits would have paid for the whole thing and paid off our debt. But the reason they don't want to go, I'll take that off. So you can go look for that yourself. The reason they don't want to go solar is because they're making money with the fuel. Now they're going to go some solar because they're now going to let Focal provide the solar, and so now they can make money for their grandchildren, like Frankie Wilson said. And you suffer. I'm not going to be on long today because I'm spending family time, but the line is still open for anyone who wants to call in. 803-5995 again is the number, 803-5995. But we got to do something. House of Assembly is going to open again in September. The question to ask yourself is what you could do. Blackouts normally start to simmer off by September because it's less load on the grid. But the question is, what are you going to do? We had a systematic plan, not just in the first 100 days, but by the first year to 18 months, we would have gotten rid, the same time it took to build Atlantis, we would have gotten rid of all the diesel generators in our country. We would have not experienced one blackout. We would have even, hold a line call, I'll come to you right now. We would have even implemented something called district cooling systems, where we would have been able to deliver cool air to your homes, like AC, to your homes. And that would have taken the load off the grid. So district cooling system would have been to the forefront because they say the heat is causing it. That's because the AC is staying on. Well, then use district cooling system to reduce the load on the grid. That's common sense. They make it sound so difficult, but it's not. They just don't want it. So they're going to always play like it's difficult. Call you live. Go ahead. Good afternoon, my brother.
I don't know. I'm not aware.
Turn your TV down or whatever you're listening on. And listen just to the phone.
I don't know if you mentioned it before or ever heard the government mention it before. They initially said that the grid is going to cost $500 million to repair. Never heard anyone saying when they can start this solution of repairing the grid and do anything with the grid.
No, not $500 million to repair. It was going to cost. They were going to LNG, which of course, because folks are going to sell them the LNG now, of course. But they're going to go to LNG, and the LNG plant by Clifton is going to cost $500 million. That is stupid to spend $500 million on LNG when I've shown the numbers on my live over and over. For a fraction of that, we could have had enough renewable energy to power this whole entire nation. That is, with methane from the dump, professionals from the US have already toured the dump with us and said that that is a gold mine. That's enough power in the dump to even power our neighbors. With solar, with hydro, meaning from the water, hydro, from the currents in the water, and from hydrogen, meaning the process of taking water, seawater, and turn it into hydrogen will generate enough electricity to give us electricity on many of our family island towns. I mean, but we still voting to give money to the FNM and PLP. Go ahead, caller.
But I understand that part of it. But I'm saying they are given solutions like the LNG plant, but they're going to open an LNG plant and produce more power on the same failing, outdated grid.
Yes.
Which can take the power as is now. Shouldn't there be a solution for renewing the grid before doing another power source?
Okay. With what you just asked, I'm going to have to reveal something to Bahamians that they did not see. All right? I have to reveal that. All right? Because I don't think they saw it. So hang up and listen to me, okay?
Yes, sir.
Bahamas. The government of the Bahamas, the Prime Minister said that they have renewed the grid. That Bahamas Grid Company thing that was formed by Kalina them and was it Andy Ferguson them and whatever, and the same people who own it. They said they fixed the grid. They said it was 80% done fixing the grid in New Providence. The distribution and transmission system is 80% done, is what they said. distribution and transmission. Transmission and distribution. Transmission is the big poles that you see. They're the big ones, right? They go very high. That's the high tension ones, high voltage. All right? That carries it far distances. The distribution is distributed to your house now. That's the lamp poles and the wires in the lamp poles, right? That goes to your house. That's the distribution system. So you have transmission, the big poles, distribution, little poles, and then the little substations that you need to transform electricity from one thing to the next, etc. They said it's 80% renewed, restored, etc. Right? Tell me where you have seen one new lamppost in the whole Bahamas. Tell me. Well, in Nassau, which they say is 80% done. Tell me where you've seen one new lamppost. They are transforming transmission and distribution. Tell me where you've seen one new lamppost, one new wire in the whole of Nassau. If that's what they were doing. Because the original people who gave a quote, and I've spoken to them also in the 90s, to the Bahamas government about the problems with our system is that 50% of our energy leaks out in distribution because the wires are faulty and the whole distribution system is garbage. So that's one of the biggest problems they had. All right? So they said that they was transforming and changing the transmission and distribution system. Tell me where they changed one wire or one lamppost. But they're making big money. That was a scam. Nothing has changed. Haven't done anything. I want you all to sit down and think where you all see anything new in transmission and distribution. You all sit down and think about that. We got scammed. Call you live. Go ahead.
Hey, good evening, Lincoln.
Good evening, my brother.
You're 100% correct. You're on point. And even worse, some places we have large underground cables that run the power, like the one that burnt up in front of our deputy's house the other day. Remember the one years ago when we ran a new wire underground from Soldier Road, where the power station is, all the way down Soldier Road, all the way Prince Charles to Elizabeth Estates, and then it burnt up.
Mm-hmm.
And they had to redo it.
Mm-hmm.
Why did it burn up? Was it cheap wire? Question. You know, when you buy a car, and you're right. I mean, I'm going to ask a question really slow now so people could listen. When you buy a car, used or new, the manufacturer suggests you change the oil every so many miles, correct?
Mm-hmm.
When was the last annual service per industry standards and manufacturers' recommendations on any of our transformers, any of our substations, any of our switchgear, any of our bus bars, and any of our circuit breakers? We know we haven't seen every lamp pole replaced or every wire that moves from every lamp pole, correct?
Correct.
But when last did you service anything? Can anyone call you right now and answer that question? Because that's the one that the man on the street is asking. But none of the officials, I put it to you, the people making the big money and driving the Beamers and Mercedes, those are the people we need to get a retirement package for. And the people on the street doing the work, those are the ones that need to become working management. You just saved a bunch of money and you fixed the problem. But that question I asked, when was anything serviced? And I'm going to ask you a question. cars and I'm a mechanic. Why would I tell you to service the car? Let it break.
Yeah.
I make money selling the parts and fixing it. Does that apply to our power company? See, we've been joking, and that solution of hydrogen, because we're not going to run out of water, right?
No.
Salt water, we got plenty.
Yeah.
But we're going to run out of oil. And you know, they're going to say that doesn't make sense. Even if you had to borrow NIB money to improve our electricity, to improve the grid for real, not joking. Because we have, and our leader said, and the head of BPL said that we've reached almost capacity. What does that mean? A few more electric cars and a couple air conditioning units and we're at capacity? Are we about to have a catastrophic failure of the grid? Because I see the former Prime Minister, the last minute, not Dr. Minnis, said he ordered a bunch of new generators. So you could have a brand new motor in your car, but the transmission going bad. And that's what's happening. We have some generators, but the transmission, the way to get it to your house, is going bad. And this thing is easy to fix, you know, Lincoln. I can go live, probably with you or somebody, and we can explain exactly how within 24 hours we could end all of these blackouts. It wouldn't cost $1. Now, either I'm crazy or somebody want to listen to that solution.
Yeah.
Anyway, good show, and you're on point. And that byproduct from those hydrogen power stations was pure drinking and bathing water in all the family islands. You were 100% on point, because we can't seem, after 53 years, to get fresh running water on a few out islands. Isn't that sick? But then what would we expect? Anything other when we didn't build one new hospital in 53 years? Have a good one, Lincoln.
Wow. Ah, my Lord. Let me share you something. And this is the second time they did this. I gotta pull this up for y'all. You gotta see this because we tend to forget. The fuel surcharge is a word. They are playing with words. It has little to do to nothing to do, little to do with the fuel. All right? I want y'all to see this. Because once you see this, you can't unsee this. All right? Once you see this, you can't unsee this. This is an article, this is 2023. But they also did this in 2012. They did this earlier when the fuel surcharge started. And now they're talking about it again. The government is seeking to recover $50 million in advances made to the Bahamas Power and Light via fuel surcharge hikes of up to 163% that will be imposed on households and businesses in 2023. It emerged yesterday. Do I need to read that again for y'all? This, the minister responsible for works at the time, Alfred, says, this is, when is this? This here, February 21st, 2023. The government is seeking to recover $50 million in advances made to BPL via fuel surcharge hikes of up to 163% that will be imposed on households and businesses in 2023. It emerged yesterday. Now, I'll read some more of it, but I want you to see this. This ain't saying they can pay for fuel by charging you a fuel surcharge. They said they could pay for a loan, loan, by hiking the fuel surcharge by 163%. You voted for it, so take it. Don't cry about the light bill high, because they did it to you, and they did this after the Prime Minister said, we will never let BPL go up on their fuel surcharge. And then weeks later, they increased it. Then they came back again with this and said, in fact, we're going to do it another 163%, and is on schedule to rise constantly. The fuel surcharge they talking about that you paying is for the loans that's going to buy the fuel that you didn't pay for because you lend them the money. But then you lend them the money to buy the fuel from them, from Focal, FM and PLB. And then you got to pay it back. Let me show you how crazy this is. That's like you lend me $100 and you got to pay that $100 back. It's getting worse. Alfred Sayers Casey, Minister of Works and Public Utilities, told the House of Assembly that the Davis administration had elected to top up the loan facilities the government has made available to cash-strapped energy monopoly instead of providing subsidies as has been a nominee practice. Some $50 million or half of the available $100 million has been advanced to BPL to date to enable it to pay its bills. And the minister subsequently said this interim funding will be repaid from the funds recovered via fuel surcharge. Isn't that right in your face? The fuel surcharge is for loan, not for fuel. That is fraud by false pretenses. Why do you call it a fuel surcharge? Y'all go use the power of Google or AI and go read the rest of that for yourself. A fuel surcharge is to pay for the money that BPL borrowed from the taxpayers and from NIB. Oh God. You already hit the streets? You think it's time? I think you're mad enough. I think so. I think you need to suffer a little bit more. Call you live, go ahead.
From what I understand, what you said just now is basically the government seems to be running a Ponzi scheme. Because who's ultimately benefiting from something like that?
BPL is a Ponzi scheme. That's my opinion. NIB is a Ponzi scheme. Definitely is a Ponzi scheme. NIB definitely is a Ponzi scheme. By the definition of what a Ponzi scheme is. BPL is also operating, in my opinion, like a Ponzi scheme. The person's benefiting is the person selling the fuel to BPL, and that's Focal, which is owned by the PLP and FNM. And they are here pretending like, we got to do something. Okay, them said was bad. Vote for us now and put us in there. Then the same thing happened. And we said, well, what happened? What the same thing? Oh, there's a legacy problem. We inherited this from and they've been inheriting for 50 years now. And we keep voting for it. And then they say, well, what y'all gonna do different? How would you change it? Listen, solar solution is so easy. Listen, we could have already had that done now. We gave the 100-day plan we gave because people don't believe that things can be done. And so when you make it too ambitious, it boggles their mind. We gave a very conservative 100-day plan. By now, we would have been on solar, using a 24-hour work schedule, using a bigger amount of manpower because it's an emergency. If it would have taken 50 men a year to do it, then to reduce the amount of time from a year, then you increase it to 100 men. And now it's half a year. Or you increase it to 200 men. That's a quarter of a year. You see how you just put the manpower to make it happen? It's an emergency. We run on tourism. We cannot have our power out. And so we would have given the solution to this. We would have done it already. They are borrowing $500 million to do LNG, man. When that could have given us enough solar to power us, Cuba, and Jamaica, and Haiti. But they're making money from the oil. So yes, it's a Ponzi scheme, and y'all keep getting scammed because y'all keep voting for them. What they're gonna do is distract you with other things. Distract you. Making it about personality is about me. Oh, you can't vote for Lincoln because he's no good. He's bad. Just keep voting for the people who've been crooking you and robbing you all these years and giving you no results. Man, give us some results, and I wouldn't get no good hospital, my brother. No good healthcare service. No good electricity in the country. They have business license people that apply for from last year and they ain't get it yet. You hear me say last year? Last year and they ain't get it yet. And this year getting ready to over. This is the 8th month. Business license what people applied for. I mean, nothing in the country is working. Nothing. Thanks for your call, caller. I can go spend some family time. I can go have dinner. Where I am, the power on. Y'all enjoy. I pray that electricity stays on for you. But by the time as we go live again next week, I can need to know if Bahamian serious or not. When the house opening again, September, we need to make a decision. We need to make a decision, Bahamas. It's do or die. We can do so much. We can do so much. All we need is right leadership. I'm not talking about, I don't care who from the FNM they put there, they just can serve the bidding of the oligarchs. The oligarchs don't care about taking this country forward because any business you bring that's ingenuity is going to take bread out of their mouth. So they can never want nothing that can take the country forward. Let me help you understand something. They used to have something called lamp lighters back in the day in America and England and other countries. That means the street lamps was actually lit. They had oil in those lamps, and someone had to physically go, climb the lamp, and light it up in the evening so that you could have the streets light up in the night. Every night. So the oil sellers who selling the kerosene oil to go in the street lamps made money. The people who sold the wicks, the people who made the lampposts with the glass and everything they needed, and the people who were working, the laborers who had to go from lamp to lamp out throughout the whole city every night and then go out them every morning. That's some serious jobs, money, etc., etc. So when they invented the electric street lights, do you know what kind of ruckus that caused? Like, you know how much people you could put out of jobs? Businesses could lose money because y'all want to do electric light? When the governor of Alaska he had this vision in his head, because he started this whole thing. He had this vision in his head that the people of Alaska should benefit from their natural resources. Man, they call this man all kind of crazy, selling dreams, all this kind of stuff. And he wanted to do it with any natural resource, which included fish, because fisheries was their biggest industry at the time. They didn't have oil or natural gas or any of that stuff yet. It was fish. And so he wanted to give the people of Alaska, the residents, remember Alaska is America, that's what Americans say. He wanted to give the residents of Alaska a check at the end of the year, every year, from their natural resources, which was at the time fish. The oligarchs was in the fishing business, and they fought against this man, and they was willing to fund any opponent that would go against him to make sure this man lose the next election, because he was trying to take bread out of their mouth, even though he was trying to benefit every single Alaskan and make the place better. And so he left it alone, waited, win the next election, and then after that they found natural gas. And he said, there's no oligarchs attached to the natural gas, so let me try again. And so he did it with the natural gas, and it worked. And when everyone got their check, they was like, wow, this can happen. Everyone got a check. And so the first check was like 2,000 something or whatever. But can you imagine you getting a check? And that, I'm not talking about the tax returns. This is just a check for the natural resources. Everyone's like, wow, Christmas coming and we get a check from the government, from the natural resources? This can work. And then they discovered oil, and then the oil was even bigger money. And they let him do that right away. They was like, yep, right away, governor, whatever you say, done. But the first time, the oligarchs stopped it. In our country, the oligarchs is blocking everything because only what they making money from, they want done. If they're not in that business, they don't want you in that business, because one, money determines elections, and they don't want new people making money in order to stop, to determine who benefits in elections. And so they were very cautious. They are very cautious about any new innovative thing coming and making money. They're going to destroy it. So all of you who have hope in the F&M the way it is, unless they have some radical new leader that's gonna change things like the things we talking about, it ain't gonna happen. It's gonna be the same thing over and over. Their job is to keep you poor. That's the PLP and the F&M. Don't mind the PLP saying they for the poor. Their job is to keep you poor. And they say, oh, we look out for the poor. Some people is eat. That's because they have to give the contracts to their little cronies who they could trust, who's going to give them kickbacks. They don't give to everybody. They don't give to the poor. They give it to their cronies because their crony got to kick some of the money back to the MP, the politician, the party. So when they do the contract, they inflate it so that the rest of that inflation goes to the party. And so they ain't benefiting no poor. The people ain't eating. Because if you ain't in their clique, meaning someone who they know they could trust to give some of that kickback and keep your mouth shut, you get nothing. That's the system we in. You're also fooling yourselves. The same thing happens in the F&M. But on a bigger scale, the F&M steals on a huge scale. This is the last call I could take. I can spend family time. This is the last one. Call you live.
Good afternoon, Mr. Bain. How are you, sir?
I'm alive.
Well, it's good to know that you're alive, and it's good to know that you're still on top of the earth, which is a very good thing. Mr. Bain, we always use the word oligarchs, but we want to know who are the oligarchs in the Bahamas who controlling the system. You see, sometimes I just don't want to say nothing. The system. You know what a system? And I know you know what.
Before you go there, let me make this easy to understand for the people watching this. The oligarchs consist of PLPs and F&Ms. First, it was mostly F&Ms, the Bay Street Boys, etc. But now the PLP created their own oligarchs so they could have money funneled into their party too. And there's an arrangement, there's an agreement, like a mafia type agreement, that whatever is done, both parties have to benefit from it. All right? And the only time you'll see them going against each other is when one party tries to do something without including the other party. All right? Like when Ingram had to reverse the BTC sale and that kind of stuff, right? But they do whatever they do and both benefit. So when you see companies like Arawak Homes, both the F&M and PLP own it. When you see Frankie Wilson, he ain't an owner. He is the front man for the PLP, making sure they have their man on the board, their man and their interests there. And when you see Tommy T them, they are there as the F&M interests. All right? So when you see Arawak Homes, that's it. When you see Focal and other companies that they're part of, they are doing this together. They are raping and robbing the Bahamian people together. The Bahamas Grid Company, that's PLPs and the F&Ms behind that. All right? Set up by Kalina. PLPs and the F&Ms. So they are running a mafia where they are the two, and then they have families in each of them that will always benefit from anything that is done, like the 5 families in New York in the mafia. And that's how they are operating. And that's why they didn't want anyone who's not a part of that mafia to get in the House of Assembly. So they don't mind Andre and them coming in there and running on, you know. Andre is a man who was controlled or operated by Ingram. All the speeches you saw he was doing when he was going after Minas, that was Ingram speeches. All right, he was doing Ingram's bidding. And so now Ingram is going to push aside Pintard. Ingram always wanted Dwayne Sands to go there, but Dwayne Sands' time is past. He can't really get anywhere. And so now he's going to try to push Andre there because he's going to do his bidding. That's what politicians do. They put someone there to do their bidding. Like Pinlin wanted Perry there instead of Bernard Nottage because he couldn't control Bernard Nottage, but he could control Perry. You see? And so that's the plot now. Let's try to get behind Andre, and Andre will do the bidding of Ingram. But Ingram will keep that quiet, but he didn't stop. All right? But Bahamians keep getting fooled by the personalities. It doesn't matter who the leader is, Bahamas. It doesn't matter. They're controlled by the people in the party who run things. All right? Ingram got marched down plenty. The white knights took the money from him when they saw certain things he was doing. That's why he said, "I'm one man. I ain't letting Branson run as deputy. No, I run without a deputy." Because he was clashing with them and they pulled the rug from under him. Minas, the same thing. The oligarchs wanted to control certain things. Minas wasn't willing to do some things. All right? And so they pulled the rug from under Minas. They control it by controlling the money. We want to empower all Bahamians so no one can control them again. Local or foreign power. Go ahead, caller. I got 2 minutes.
I appreciate that. You see, that all end up with one word: system. A system is a group of independent parts that work together to make a single unified whole. In essence, a system was established in this country, Mr. Bain, and I know you would know this. And as we always say, and as you always say, that the PLP and the F&M is a system that came together, unified for the whole, to make sure that the system that they had established will continue to work. The only way we can deal with this system is that the people must realize that they can break the system when they unify themselves, as the system has unified themselves, the PLP and the F&M.
I got 1 minute.
The people. They are against the people. And so all I'm saying, Mr. Bain, system, we have to destroy the system. But I appreciate you. And oh God, help us. I appreciate you, man. And continue to do well, man. And God bless you. Bahamians, the system must be destroyed. They did not want the COI in there, but they know that the system would have been destroyed, and they fight to the death to make sure that system remains. But we the people could destroy the system by unifying ourselves and get those two who came together to destroy us and to defeat us and to control us. We, the people, can do it. God bless you, man, and have a beautiful day.
Thank you, man. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's it for today. I appreciate all of you tuning in. We had a huge turnout, even though I didn't announce or advertise anything. So, thank you. We still got almost 9,000 of you on here across our platforms. Thank you so much. We got a decision to make. I'm going to see you all next week with more files, more information. But we got to stop talking and we got to take a stand. We can't keep sitting down and just accepting this. All right? Let the PLP fight over who could be the next leader. They fighting right now over who could be the next leader. The FNM is fighting over who could be the next leader. All we need is someone who wants to take this country in a revolutionary new direction. We need a revolution in this country. It's time for Bahamians to evolve from slaves to owners. This person asks, how can we have a petition to call election? You're tired of evil. Petition is not going to help. They're going to ignore it. They don't even follow the Westminster system. If the people fill the square, the government got to stand down. They will get a call and say, the minorities have spoken, you got to go. It's your decision. But maybe we like things the way it is. If so, then so be it. You're being taken over by foreigners. So we'll see what happens. All right. The situation is still the same in Old Bahama Bay. The other owners have taken over. The criminal John McDonald. They are planning on continuing to fight and stand up. If they decide to take something to court, watch and see which judge they take it in front of. That could tell you who. Whenever you see the police show up for these kind of situations, they send their police. So that could tell you who the crooked police is. And so the same may be true for whatever judge they put that in front of. Because we saw the government all over there sending crooked police to go do their bidding, giving them license. The owners shut the old management company down on August 4th. I showed you the documents. And on August 5th, the government gave the crooked people license on August 5th, the next day. Remember I showed you all that? So that means the government is all behind, all up in this. So they could tell him now, listen, go to court. We could get one friendly judge. This was happens. I can't really say this could happen, but this is kind of stuff they do. This is kind of stuff crooked people do. Administrations. We could put this in front of one of our people, man. Don't worry about that. That's straight. Don't worry about them. And once the judge say it, then we put it in the newspaper, and then it's credible. Do not trust any part of the system right now, Bahamas. No part of it. No part of it. Don't trust the politicians in the House, the Senate. Don't trust our judicial system that is appointed by the Prime Minister. Don't trust the police. Don't trust, I'm not saying police in general are bad. I'm saying that the politicians force them to do their bidding. Don't trust the media on any political story. If they're just doing a story saying it rained last night, okay, you could trust that. But any story involving any politician, especially me, don't trust nothing they say. Ladies and gentlemen, it's 7 o'clock. I gave you all almost 2 hours a day, just a minute short of 2 hours. God bless you all. I'm going to enjoy my day. I pray that your electricity stays on. If it doesn't, well, that's what